Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another video. So in this lesson we're going to come back to the Fight Manager script, and I want to get some more functionality in place. So now we're going to start getting some of the code in place that's going to manage the rounds. So we're in Fight Manager and we need to create a number of new variables. So these are all going to be of type static, public static, and then the first one will be a bool underscore current fight timer ended. So let's put that into the comments. We'll put defines if the fight timer has counted down to 0. So again, public static, this time int underscore, and we'll give this a naming convention of current rounds player 1. In fact, I'll put player 1 defines the current number of rounds player 1 has won, and we can just copy that one and we'll paste that in. In fact, let's paste it in twice. We'll need to add this at some point anyway, so we might as well do it here. We'll change that to player 2. And the next one is going to be opponent, obviously, so let's get that into the comments also. So let's now come to the void start. This code can go anywhere. I'll put it at the bottom, I think. So current fight timer ended is going to equal false. Close that off. Into the comments we'll put set. We'll just paste the naming convention into false on start up. And now we just have to do the same with the round. So current rounds play 1 obviously is going to equal 0. And I'll just put that into the comments. Again, I'll just copy the naming convention in. Let's just paste that in again twice. And we can just switch out the naming convention now. So player 2. And the opponent. So let's just get that in place. And just get rid of that empty line. So I'm going to come below the void update. I'll make this private void. I'll make it private for now. So I'm going to call this check round over. Open and close brackets, we'll open and close again, and we're just going to call that at the very beginning of the void update. So we'll just paste that in. To the comments. And we'll also need some more code in the void update. So if fight timer is less than or equal to 0, make it equal to 0. We're just going to come below there. And we'll create another if statement. Current fight timer double equals 0. Again, let's get this into the comments. So if, again, I'll just copy and paste the variable in, is equal to 0. Current fight timer ended equals true. And again, we'll just get that into the comments. Okay, with that over, we can now come to the check round over function. So, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and pause the video while you open up the Fight GUI script. And we're going to use this because we can actually copy and paste some code. So in the void update, the two variables, or the two lines should I say, at the top for return current player health and return current opponent health, let's copy those. And we're going to paste those in. So we don't have the variables. For some reason the red errors aren't showing, but it probably is showing for you. But that isn't a problem. We can just define these as a float here. Obviously you could define them as variables at the top of the script, but in this case I don't think that's really necessary, so we'll just define them as floats here. And now we can actually start getting some of the actual code, the functional code in place. So if return current player health double equals 0, again we'll just get this into the comments. So if players health is equal to 0, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open and close brackets here. Now in the brackets I'm going to say current round opponent 1 plus equals 1. Let's close that line off. Into the comments we're going to say then increase the round counter for the opponent. Will come after the close brackets. We're going to enter there. So if you're looking at this and saying, look, if you've only got one line here, you don't need the extra brackets, and that would be true if it wasn't for the fact that we will have to come back and put more code into this if block at a later date. So that's why the brackets are there. And it's also going to be the same for the opponent. So we can just swap out the variable. We'll just change and tidy up the comments as we go. Current rounds play 1 as 1 for the player 1, And now we're going to create another if block. So if in brackets current fight timer ended double equals true. We'll come to the end, we'll open and close brackets again, and we'll just quickly put this into the comments. If current fight timer ended is equal to true, and then we'll come inside the brackets and we're going to create another if statement. If open and close brackets, we're going to say returned player health is double equal to the return opponent's health. We'll break the line up for commenting, so we'll say if, and I'll actually use the real naming conventions this time, equals the return current opponent's health. So this is for the situation if the player and the opponent are both on low health and they both hit each other at the same time. Basically a draw. We're going to need some extra code. We'll come below and we'll open and close brackets again. In the brackets we're going to say current rounds, player 1 has won. Again we're just going to use the plus equals 1, close the line off. In fact, let's just copy it from these here. And same for the opponent. Now, in your game, or I'll give an example. In my game, if there's a draw, then both characters will get 1 point, i.e. 1 round awarded. Now, you may not want this. You may say, well, if it ends in a draw, I don't want any round to be counted. Well, that's absolutely fine. You can just change this to a 0 if that's what you want for your game. And this, again, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It just depends on how you want your game to work. So I'll leave the choice up to you. We'll create another if statement. So here, after this close bracket, if return opponent health is less than the return player health, and again we can just copy the line for current rounds, player 1 has won plus 1. And we'll just break this up for commenting again, that first line. So we'll say if opponent's health is less than the player's. So this is basically for if neither player has had all their health depleted. That's what these if statements are for. So the health equals 0, match is over, the round is awarded to whichever side. This is for if the fight time hits 0, but both players still have health. We need to discern who wins by who's got the most health. So that's what this if block is for, and it's also what the other one would be for. Let's say it's less than. Let's just get rid not of all that, just this part. It's less than the player's health. We award the round to the player who obviously has more health. Let's just copy and paste that in. And all we're going to do is just switch around the variables. So the first, if the first line is, we want the current player health this time, so let's change that out. Player's health is less than the opponent, so that'll be swapped out in the next line. We want to increase how many rounds the opponent has won. So let's just swap out that line. And we'll just save that off. And in fact, while we have the Fight GUI script open, there's a little bit of code for that we'll get in very quickly. So let's now have a look. You can put this wherever you like. I'll put this here for now at least. It's going to be a private bool returned fight timer ended. Close that line off. Let's put this into the comments. So we'll say variable to hold if the fight timer has fully counted down. And let's come to the void start. We can put this anywhere. I'll put it at the bottom here. So let's have a look. Return fight timer ended. It's going to equal, and obviously it's going to be the fight manager script. So let's just have a look. Let's save this off. So let's have a look. I'm not quite sure why it's not coming up on IntelliSense, but let's just see if we can continue. We'll say equals false. So we'll just say on void start that the return fight timer ended equals and we'll just say the current fight timer ended, and you can put from the fight manager script. If you wish, I'll put and set to false. Let's just save that off. Board to in. Let's have a look. Fight manager. So here we go. Current fight timer ended. I'll just use current fight timer. That's the reason for the error. Let's just save that off. Okay, that's cleared the error. we'll leave it here for this lesson. Unfortunately, we can't test out what we've done so far. Well, not easily. It would be much better to get some other code in place for the GUI before we test. So once we've done that, we'll test it out as we do. But we'll leave it here for this video. As always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.